I just came out of my session with my social worker. It is the 9th session on 10, and the reason why I started working with him after my 24-hour mental burnout. It's the first time I talk about it publicly. So after the event on September 27th, 28th, 2025, we had more than 450 people attending. We had a team of at least 10 people working on logistics, finances, and building the event. My attention was scattered, my resources, my time was scattered and pulled in every single direction possible for at least 3 months before the event, and even before that. I thought multiple times about quitting, and minimum 2 times about if doing this 24-hour mental event is gonna even be worth it. I was about to cancel the event in September because I was drained mentally, physically, and spiritually. Until Emil told me, Kirk, you really have to do this event. We need to keep the momentum of January 2025 when I did the first edition of 24 mental. So today the video, I'm at Parc Maisonneuve. I'll do a little walk, run, and then I'll share with you what happened and how I'm still standing here today. Okay, let's go. So now I'll be holding the camera like this because it's more comfortable. Might be very close to my face though. Okay, let me change it. Okay. So the session with this social worker, his name is Philippe Matt. I don't know if I can share it, but after the 24-hour mental event, I was burnt out. I was bedridden, on my phone, on social media, Instagram, scrolling reels infinitely. I binge watched series. I binge watched YouTube until my body couldn't hold it anymore, until my physical battery, my brain shut down. That's how I could sleep. Until my phone ran out of the battery, until my computer ran out of the battery. So Emil, my friends, my family was worried about me, that I stayed at home not doing anything. I was not coming out to eat. I was not showering. I was not brushing my teeth. The only reason why I got out of bed was to eat some fruits, bananas, some granola bars, and drink water to stay alive. When those needs were taken care of, I'd be back in bed scrolling YouTube, reels, shorts. And then my phone would die, computer would die, and I'd just reset, do the same thing day after day, isolating myself. Sometimes going to events or meet up with friends, but pretending like everything is fine. So here I am today. Three months after that. The worst part of it was right after the 24-hour event until mid-November. Now, I've worked hard and a lot on myself, found out a lot of parts. Turns out that I'm pretty successful with my life. Relationship-wise, my girlfriend, my family, work, career-wise. I have my own nonprofit. I run it. What else? My career. I have my marketing firm. I have my clients. I have my good friends. I have loving friends, loving family. I have everything I need in this life to be successful to my standards. But I was still, at the 8th session with my CLSA social worker, we found out that I told him, I feel like something's missing. I have everything, but something's missing. And we found out that it's basically from childhood trauma that I have never addressed. I know I have them. I know I need to work on it, rediscover it, and reappropriate these stories or rewrite these stories I've been telling myself. So I'll tell you the metaphor that I used to explain this to my social worker, Philippe Matt, at the CLSA Olivier Guimont. I told him this morning, not even an hour ago. Right now it's around 11:30. Our sessions are from 10 to 11. So I told him last week was the best week I ever had in the last 8 months. And how I calculate and how I quantify this great week is much, much more different than how I would qualify it before. Right now, my standards for a good week is consistency. So I'll tell you what my good week was. My sleep was dialed in. 8 hours of sleep or more. Sleeping by 8:45 or in bed by 8:45, 9. Incredible conversations with my girlfriend. Movement-wise, sports, running, swimming, hiking, my morning walks in the sun. Career-wise, 24-hour mental has been moving forward so fast and steadily with consistency. The team is incredibly efficient and wise and proactive to build this organization and the impact that we want to have. Personal quest to understand more myself, to understand myself more, has been wild, and I'll tell you the metaphor regarding me understanding myself better and where I come from. Business-wise, with my marketing firm, is going well. I have my clients. I'm launching a new offer and service soon. Can't really share right now. So I have everything. In the last week, I felt so full. This full man that I have been talking about, that is present, open, honest, wise. caring, reliable, trustworthy. All of this, brave. I've been embodying these characteristics of myself that I project and that I see myself in 20 years. Kirkland, of 45 years old, has those characteristics and is embodying them and living them every single day through his life, with his relationships, with his wife, with his family, with his sons, with his daughters, with his friends, his partners, business partners, and with his organization. It's funny because yesterday I was talking to Amanda and we were talking about how does a business of the amplitude of having 500 stores and more in North America keep a culture and build a culture and community that is strong and reliable. And then we both made the connection of how we personally embody business, not just business, how we personally embody and live our lives. We transcend that to our companies and our organizations and the projects that we lead and the projects that we participate in and the effort that we put in out into this world. People feel it. The vibes, the energy that you bring to the table is different if you embody who you say you are and who you are. So I'm not trying to be all inspirational now, because what I mean is, if you are who you really say you are, if your actions follow your words and you really are who you say you are, even when no one's watching, then your values, your mindset, and your way of life is going to transcend whatever you do. It's going to influence and inspire people around you, the team members that you have, your employees, your boss, your managers, the directors, your friends, your family. All of these people are going to be influenced by the way that you show up when no one's watching. So for me personally, how I show up when no one's watching is by being just honest with myself, just integrity, and not lying to myself, because I spent so many years lying to everyone, including myself, about going to school, about my work, about my grades, to my parents, and all of that. I did that for 4 years. I left the house. When I ended high school, I went to CJEP college for 2 weeks, and then I dropped out. I didn't want to tell my mom, I didn't want to tell my dad, I didn't want to tell my family, because I was scared of how they would react. Because education, especially in the Asian culture, is incredibly important. So I didn't tell anyone for 4 years. I would live at home with my parents, brothers and sisters, and I would tell them, hey, I'm leaving, I'm going to school this morning. Every day. Instead, I would go to either work at my water treatment store that I opened with 2 partners. Either I would work at Gracian's Cafe selling eyeglasses in Rockland Center, or I would work at the grocery store next to my house. Now that's very ballsy to work next to your house, because you're supposed to be in school, in college. But I was worried about my mom coming in and be like, aren't you supposed to be in school? But I already had it figured out. I already had my excuse. I don't have class right now. So those 4 years were from 2018 to 2022, end of 2022. So in December 2022, I told my mom I wasn't going to school the past 4 years. She was probably shocked, I understand. And she was probably worried too about what have I been doing these past years with my time, leaving the house, which is normal for anyone, especially a mom. That's it. So all that to say that right now, I'll tell you the metaphor about childhood trauma and how it affects your daily life. Now, I invite you to close your eyes and imagine this scenario. From 0 to 7 years old, I was abused at home, physically and mentally, through my environment, through my parents' interactions, and directly. My dad used to beat me almost every day. It would hurt, I would cry, I would find different ways to defend myself. That was 0 from 7 years old, and for example, that is a lake. A huge, deep, and dark lake. Now, from 7 to 22 years old, what I did was I built my defense mechanisms. It was very easy for me to lean into gaming, which turned into an addiction, which is still an addiction. I don't game, but because I know I'm gonna be addicted. So gaming, lust, and work. Those were my defense mechanisms. And to add to that, I was very good at forgetting the hurt, forgetting the suffering, forgetting the thoughts, forgetting the words that were said to me, and forgetting the danger that I was in to feel safe. And I would escape through video games. And addiction. From 7 to 22, it ranged from video games to social media addiction to lust and all of that, okay? So you get the point. That defense mechanism, we can picture it with a trampoline. The trampoline, this defense mechanism that I spent 7 to 22 years old building, got so solid that it was rooted in my personality and who I was. This trampoline was covering the lake, but the lake was still there. It was still deep, it was still dark, it was still unexplored. So me jumping up and down on this trampoline that is over the lake was me trying to achieve and reach my potential. Me jumping up and down on this defense mechanism, on these defense mechanisms, made me think I was reaching my potential closely. But this sine wave that I was doing, up and down, up and down, up and down, this is the roller coaster of habits and destructive repetitions that would make me... It's not destructive. This sine wave, this roller coaster, it brought me where I was. It helped me build the businesses that I have. It helped me build the relationships that I have. It helped me live, eat, work out. It allowed me to have a semblance of life. This is what this sturdy trampoline was. Look, this red cardinal. So this trampoline, it was good until 22 years old. Actually 21 years old, until 21 years old, when I found my job, I left school. I was already out of school. But at 21 years old, I started working with my mentors. I made enough money through sales. I was selling marketing packages for coaches and consultants. And then I switched companies, and then I was selling marketing packages and marketing services for influencers and creators and business people that already had an audience of 100K more followers and 10K email list. So that's where my marketing expertise is coming from. I've seen people make like starting 50K per month to 250K per month in 2 months while our company implemented the systems that we had in their business. Anyway, I use that in my work today for my clients. But from 21, when I made all this money, I decided to invest all of it into mentors. My two main mentors helped me with marketing, starting my own business, masculinity, how to think, and that's it. So the money I invested in hiring these mentors to teach me how to think, not what to think, but how to think, allowed me to reconstruct the holes in this trampoline of defense mechanisms. So they helped me to think through my hardships, think through my suffering, to repair this roller coaster, because I was tired of always having this high through a business deal, through events, through anything, and then crashing down right away. I was tired of this roller coaster. So they helped me stabilize it by repairing these defense mechanisms, this trampoline, and it worked. That's how, again, I built the foundation of my businesses, the foundation of myself. From there, I started to learn what my values are, what I really want, who I am, and where I'm going. From that work, I realized, great. So now that I know all these things, that I can become the full man that I say I am, that is caring, present, honest, reliable, trustworthy, I can transcend that into my businesses and who I am. My relationships went so well. So I was jumping higher and higher on my trampoline, but the roller coaster kept going. The sine wave of reaching my potential kept going. Until one day, September 2025. 28th of September 2025. This was the highest I've ever been in my life. What I mean is, the event I organized with my team had more than 450 people attending through 24 hours. It was for men's mental health and suicide prevention. I was there with my friends. My family was supporting. Everyone showed up. My uncles, my grandpa, I ran 400 meters with him. Everyone was there. It was the highest high of my life. Thanks to all the tools that I built and the resources I had from my mentors to build this defense mechanism that everything was built on. Then think about the image that I'm giving you. I was so high that when I landed on the trampoline, it ripped. There was a hole in the trampoline, and that hole that hole on the trampoline made me fall straight into the deep, dark lake. The lake that I'd never explored. The lake that I was so scared of, that I was protecting myself from. I was drowning in this lake after September 27, 28. After the last 24-hour event, I drowned in this lake. I didn't know why, I didn't know what it was, but I was stuck. So I had to reach out for help. I had to reach out for lifeguards. I had to reach out to people that gave me floating devices. Those people who gave me these floating devices that helped me not drown were Philippe Mat from the CLSC. And this professional mental health help. So what Philippe helped me do through 9 sessions, today was the 9th one. He was there to listen actively, he didn't judge, and he was empathetic. He gave me guidelines, tools, and resources to navigate my own mind and to navigate where I'm coming from and why this roller coaster kept going. We uncovered my traumas, we uncovered where I'm coming from, we uncovered my defense mechanisms. And sure, the sessions were only 1 hour each, but the work really happened between the sessions. Myself, I take a lot of credit on the way that I think and where I arrived from these meetings with him. What I uncovered is personal. You don't need to know all the details, but all this to say that I seek professional help, professional mental health help, because it's kind of ironic of doing this 24-hour event for men's mental health and suicide prevention, but myself, I put my mental health in jeopardy. I sacrificed myself to do all of this. Sacrifice is not the right word. I put myself at risk by trying to help other people without thinking about me. So he helped me get out of this lake that I was drowning in. So now I'm getting closer to the edge and I'm on the beach of the lake. I can see the lake. But now I realize that the sun is shining. I can hear the birds. I can hear the squirrels. I can hear the lake. I can hear nature. And that's because I got out of that lake. I got out of my defense mechanism. I got out of that trampoline. Now I realized that trampoline, yes, it made me feel closer to my potential, but I was always crashing down. I needed to build a solid foundation. So now that I'm on that beach, I look for a good soil to build my foundations. I understand that this lake, these childhood traumas, these problems that I've been covering with my defense mechanisms has to be addressed. I need to dive into them and find this lockness and understand these stories that I've been telling myself, because childhood is or memories of childhood is made from a child's mind, from how we felt at that time. So the stories that you're telling yourself about your childhood are the stories that this child that was suffering made about himself. So now that I'm out of the lake, on my more solid base and foundation, I can take a look back at the late and understand objectively what these traumas are. Understand objectively why I was in those situations and why my parents acted the way they acted. Why I was never shown love explicitly. Well, because my family came from war. We escaped Vietnam, the Vietnamese war. My parents, I don't want to go too much into their stories because it's their story. But the way that I saw it is they never received explicit love. It was always, I beat you up because it's going to make you better. It's going to make you not repeat these unlawful, quote unquote, actions. So I have to beat you up to make you, because I love you, to make you better. How they showed love was, my mom was by cooking, actions, acts of services. That's how she showed love, because that's all she knew probably. So understanding that and rewriting those stories and understanding why am I late right now? Why am I compulsively and why am I late? Well, because when I grew up, there are three folds to this. At the cadets, there was a parade where I had a double promotion from Master Corporal to Sergeant to Warrant Officer. It was a double promotion. I was in the ranks, in the platoon. They call me, I go in front, I take my rank. Cool. I go back, I walk back to the platoon. In the same breath, in the same sentence, the Master of Ceremony calls my name again for the Warrant Officer rank. I'm like, what? So I come in front and everyone starts clapping and I'm like, why? Because I just got a double promotion. Someone high up in the army was there, and then after the ceremony, he's like, I've never seen anyone have a double promotion like this. I just want to congratulate you. But before that, I went in front, get my second promotion, and I get back in the platoon, and I'm like, this is so cool. I just got a double promotion. But then, 5 minutes later, my dad comes in the gymnasium. 5 minutes later, after that. And then I think to myself, he saw none of this. He will never realize the amplitude of success that that moment made me feel. So I thought to myself, it's not that important if I show up late. I won't miss anything. I'm still gonna see my son, I'm still gonna see people, they're still gonna be clapping, people are gonna be enjoying the parade. I won't miss out. So I can just show up late, it doesn't matter. That's fold number one. Fold number two, that was at the cadets. Fold number two, Taekwondo. At Taekwondo competitions all across the city, the province, the nation, I always felt like my parents were not present. They were not there. Just sure, sometimes they showed up to competitions because they had to drive us, but I didn't feel any support because I just didn't have that. That's fold number two. And that means I won city competitions, gold medals, easy. Provincial competitions, gold medals, double gold medals, easy. National competition, first or second place. And then World Championships in 2019, April 2019 in Innsel, Germany. Won second place. Cool, not that hard for me. But I never gave myself the merit of winning those things because I never had their approval of my parents, especially during those formative years. I was never praised for winning competitions. I was never praised for my double promotion at the cadets. never celebrated. My wins were never celebrated. So I never understood why people would clap. I would never understand why people would support. I would never understand the depth and the importance of my achievements. So that's where it's coming from. Right now I'm learning to see the amplitude of my success and amplitude of the impact that I've had on myself, people around me, my friends and my family. Because I did that. And I'm proud of myself for that. I did it. And I'm still doing it. Third fold is football at high school. Practice was at 4 p.m. Practice ended 5:30, 6. And we were like 10 guys after practice sitting at the corner, the curb with the coach or not. But slowly some guys would leave because their parents would come to pick them up. And then we ended up being like 5 guys, 3 guys, 2 guys. Then the last guy, his parent comes, picks him up. And then the coach comes to me and they're like, Kirk, are your parents coming? I'm like, yeah, I think he's coming. He asked me, you want me to call him? I'm like, no, it's fine. I'll just wait. So my parents, my dad was always late to pick me up. Sometimes early, but what I remember as a kid was that my dad was always late, and I could not count on him to be on time or to be present or to show up. So this is my reflection that I had today with my, I don't think he's a therapist, but social worker. Next step for me is to find a psychotherapist specialized in childhood traumas. I'll work on it. And that's it. So I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to this. I know I dumped a lot of information. Have a good day. I dumped a lot of information and I'm glad that I documented this because I am 100% sure that I'm not the only one going through this. I'm not the only one that is learning more about themselves, himself, herself, about where they're coming from and why they act and they think the way they are. So if you're a person who wants to become better, that want to understand themselves better, their families better, to have better conversations, to improve their communication skills, well, just show up to 24 Mental. I'm not selling you anything. It's just the community that we've built over there is simply majestic. People that show up have heart, they have soul. And I think it's because I radiate that. Because people can see and can feel the work that I've done, that I've put in myself. People can feel the improvement. People can feel the energy and the depth of my person because I've been working on it since 2018. Almost a decade now. It's been almost a decade and I'm 25. It's been 8 years that I've been working on myself and trying to understand where I'm coming from, trying to learn how to sell, trying to learn human psychology, trying to learn behavior patterns, and trying to learn all of these. So these are the foundations of what people see at 24 Mental and around myself and the businesses that I run. So I invite you to come. We have a mental run every single Wednesday at 6:20 a.m. We meet up at Croissant Coffee. I think it's 4361 Rue Saint-Denis. And that's it. So I hope to see you there every Wednesday. Otherwise, the future is very bright with 24 Mental. We're a nonprofit for men's mental health and suicide prevention. And the way that we are going to have this concrete impact because this year, 2026, the main goal of 24 Hour Mental is not to just do events like we have or gather people. It's to have concrete mental health impact on Montreal, its communities, Québécois, Québécoises, and people that show up. So this concrete impact is going to be made through minimum monthly, like at least monthly, maybe 2 times a month, monthly mental health workshops based on different topics, based on the months. It's going to be more about having hard conversations, uncovering yourself, your values, your vision, your mission, your goals, relationships with yourself, with your parents, with your family, with your partners, love life, confidence. What is masculinity? What does being a man mean? How to treat women, how to be empathetic, how to be open, how to love, how to listen. In confidence, I really want to mention body dysmorphia, social media, addictions, lust, gaming, gambling, sports, business, alpha males. So all of these things we're going to address. And the goal of this is to build a healthy and strong masculine men. And with that is going to allow women to embody who they are, men to embody who they are, and to create a society where everyone is strong, everyone is open, everyone is non-judgmental, everyone can listen actively, and everyone is empathetic. It doesn't matter your age, gender, or your background, your origin, whatever. If you show up for yourself, show up for yourself. Don't show up for me. Don't show up for anyone else. You could show up with your friends, but do it for yourself and for the future generations of your bloodline. Okay? So the reason why this is so important to me, last thing I want to bring up is because I want to tell you about negative leadership. I learned that in the cadets. I'm not sure if this is the right word, but it's the right concept name. But negative leadership is basically when you're in the platoon, in the ranks, and you see the leader in front that is higher ranked, use his leadership position in a way that is not respectful, is forced, like forcing respect or screaming or yelling or forcing people to listen to them. This is the kind of leadership that you see in the ranks and you're like, I will never, I swear to myself, I would never be like that person. If and once I'm in his position, his or her position, I will never use this authority to force people to follow me. So through this negative leadership, I can learn how I want to lead and how I want to build my teams and how I want to lead myself and then lead my communities. Okay? So let's find this positive leadership. And on a good note, I love you all. Thank you for taking the time to listen and to watch and enjoy this week of mental health prevention and mental health. That's what Philip Matt told me as I was leaving. So enjoy your day. See you Wednesdays. Every Wednesday. We will never miss a Wednesday. If it's not me running, it's going to be, if it's not me leading the runs, it's going to be someone else. Every single person that participates is welcome to take a leadership position. 24 Hour Mental will enable people, men, women, whoever you are, to take leadership positions and to lead a team, lead a run, lead whoever, whatever you want. Just step up and you're going to be welcome. Okay? Thank you so much, and I love y'all.